Dark Road and Missing Link are going to be our next two Kingdom Hearts experiences. Dark Road is pretty much just dropping its story and then being left alone, while Missing Link is going to be the new Kingdom Hearts mobile game on the block, taking Union Cross's place. And I'm scared. Primarily because I don't want the same things plaguing Union Cross during its run to happen to Missing Link. Now, luckily, those same things happening are a fair bit less likely, at least at the start, because there's a whole new team working on Missing Link compared to Union Cross. I'm very excited for Missing Link just off of its story alone because of what Union Cross set up to be. With this new entry in the franchise, the key saga should be complete, and all that will be left is what lies ahead in the Lost Masters arc. With this in mind, I just wanted to talk about a few things that Missing Link, from my perspective, needs to do right, to both improve on some of Union Cross's shortcomings and also to have a little more general appeal to Kingdom Hearts fans, which is what they are aiming for with this graphic style and combat system. Which, speaking of general appeal, I think a good place to start and stay at for the remainder of Missing Link's life cycle is to have consistent updates. Now, of course, this would go for gameplay and general new content to keep people coming back, but a big reason a lot of fans followed Union Cross was for its story, which this game needs to have story updates consistently, rather than just dropping them spontaneously on random Tuesdays throughout the year. Now, in between these waits for Kingdom Hearts games, it's always nice to have some sort of story moving along, as was happening with Union Cross while building up to KH3, giving us something to look forward to aside from the next big number title looming. However, it's also nice when we know when updates are releasing, or at least when there's going to be a lack of updates in the future. Communication really is all I'm wanting. I criticized Union Cross pretty heavily for having lackluster communication when it came to updates, especially on the global side of things. There were often times when updates were released in Japan and we'd get no communication on when they released globally. Oftentimes it was just random. Global, even up to the very ending of Union Cross, was left in the dark on when updates will be released. I think relying on community translations to experience the story on time for any franchise of this size is just no way for most fans to experience the story. Union Cross started off relatively fine with updates, though the story wasn't nearly as hectic in the beginning. But the team for Union Cross dwindled down quite a lot to just a couple of people, I believe two, who are the same people who are finishing up Dark Road. I'm happy they are putting so much work in for us to experience this story, but I'm also disappointed in Square for that even being the situation. There is hope for this not being the case for Missing Link, not just because there's a new team, but due to Missing Link having something else that Union Cross did not have. Which leads me into the next thing: voice acting for its story. With Missing Link having voice acting and hiring actors to play these characters, old or new, should require more coordination. This should hopefully lead to more consistency as far as story goes, though this is only what I'm inferring from the trailer itself, which had voice acting in it. Hopefully this is something at least in all of the major cutscenes in Missing Link, which should make the experience that much more enjoyable compared to Union Cross, and easier to follow along with for those catching up on the story. I'm seriously hoping that the voice acting is consistent throughout the entire game. Maybe it doesn't have to be in every single cutscene, but at least in any major cutscene moving the story along. I hope the game at some weird point doesn't just resort to doing text boxes for all of our cutscenes moving on. That would end up being unfortunate. I feel like Union Cross has some of the best moments in the Kingdom Hearts series to date, and some of these moments and engaging climaxes would be appreciated that much more if they had that typical Kingdom Hearts treatment we're used to seeing, with the voice acting, the animation, climactic music playing. Which Missing Link has the chance to do both, even if it's not as high of quality as some of the games recently with their cutscenes. It should still be more engaging than the chibis some weren't fans of in Union Cross. Something additional I'd say is that I don't want the story to drag on for too long, though this sort of ties into the consistent updates. I don't know what route Missing Link will be taking for its story exactly. We know it's a continuation of Union Cross, which takes place during the same time period we see in the secret ending, though we don't know what exactly that entails. So I'd prefer that the story isn't still ongoing heading into Kingdom Hearts 4, but if that does end up being the case, if that's the way they want to write it, we'll just have to see how it goes. Those are honestly the most major things I'd want Missing Link to do right. Story first and foremost needs to be enjoyable for me, and I want it to be the best experience possible on this platform. Though one last thing I'd mention is that Missing Link does have a multiplayer system. This seems like one where you actually get to play and interact with enemies in real time with your friends instead of just watching them spam broken medals on bosses. Kingdom Hearts has kind of developed a history of dropping the ball with multiplayer in my opinion. Key examples being things like Mirage Arena never getting ported over when everyone loved it, Union Cross multiplayer being generally lackluster, and Melody of Memory getting basically zero updates to adjust its online experience. Missing Link will be another in a long list of Kingdom Hearts games to try and allow you to play with friends and family members. Of course, the main thing I'd ask for is just to have it be somewhat fun. I don't have super high expectations for the multiplayer or the gameplay in general for Missing Link, but this is more aligned with what people are used to from Kingdom Hearts than what Union Cross was. I believe Missing Link is likely going to be some sort of gacha or figure collecting type game, so enemies eventually will probably get power creeped in years or months to come, but consistent updates, community feedback, and new content to constantly do should allow for it to be fun with friends at a minimum without too many problems. There also is a beta coming up soon, so hopefully feedback from that beta can help them refine the multiplayer system, the gameplay system, see how people feel about it. They haven't quite gone multiplayer down for Kingdom Hearts. I'm not expecting them to with this game either, and I'm still hoping for a fighting game or an action MMO of some type one day, but for now, this is what we'll be getting, which again, could be really fun. Talking to friends who didn't like Union Cross as much or weren't into it at all, and asking about Missing Link, they were telling me that this looks pretty exciting to them, the way they're going with the combat, which I think this is also because the art style doesn't differ too much from what we are used to seeing from Kingdom Hearts. Just, I'd say significantly less polished, but still pretty similar. I mean, Tangled is straight out of Kingdom Hearts 3 here. Tell me some of your thoughts about Kingdom Hearts Missing Link. What are some things that Missing Link needs to do right for you personally? Similar to Union Cross, I will likely be all over the story for this game, and we still have Dark Road coming soon as well, very soon actually. So I look forward to reacting and discussing what happens with you guys. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you enjoyed, leave a like, share the video with a friend or a family member, and last but not least, if you're not already and want to become a part of the union, all you have to do is hit that roll subscribe button down below. My name is Prodigy, and I will talk to you guys soon. Peace out to you guys. Bye.
Now she's a daydreamer. She's always thinking about him. No more room in this picture for you to fit in. Now she's crying on the phone, telling you she's not good enough for him. When you think that she is